What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Snowcast Sports Talk Podcast, episode 59. Josh, the season is over. We are also live streaming this, so everyone in chat can let us know how they feel about the Giants losing. But the Giants have lost.
I just think it's funny. They're like, "Oh, I'm gonna send the little emotes and the fucking
Yeah, go
the
crazy,
little
go
dude
crazy.
doing
I
this."
like it.
Oh my god.
How you doing after that loss?
I kind of, I hate to say it, but I kind of felt it coming. I had my doubts that the Giants were gonna win this game against the Eagles. I didn't have a lot of confidence, and I'm thinking, man, if I don't have a lot of confidence, I don't think it's gonna go too well.
Josh, you are one of the most optimistic Giants fans I know.
Yeah, I'm super optimistic, but I just did not feel it, and I felt like even the player. I wonder what the players felt. I wonder if the players went into the game thinking we're gonna win this game, or if even they, deep down, were like, we're not gonna make it past this game. I'm wondering. You don't want to have that attitude. You want to have a winning attitude for sure, but
yeah, and after the win against the Vikings, I felt like, okay, we can take on anyone. Chat, thank you for popping off. I will read you after we are done recording. I appreciate you guys, though. But yeah, I thought we could do anything at that point. The Giants have gone on miracle runs before, and it kind of came crashing down. I want to start with giving credit to the Philadelphia Eagles. And Josh, I shit talk this team so hard, but you got to give credit to them. It starts with the players. There's a real talent gap. They just have better players, They were just out-muscling us. And then secondly, we were out-coached. Dable is coach of the year, but going for it on 4th and 8 on that first drive, Daniel Jones takes the sack, and then at the end of the game, when it's 31-7 and then you punt the ball, why don't you just go for it at that point? It's like it's all or nothing anyway. It just felt like all the way from Dable down to our worst player, they just were better than us everywhere.
It felt like they started out with that kind of fire. Like on the very first drive, they went for it on 4th and 8, which I thought was holy crap. 4th and 8, we're going for it.
But Josh, it worked against the Washington Commanders a couple weeks ago. Remember that drive we went for it on 4th and 8 and Richie James caught it? I got the idea, but it was like, damn, that was a 7-point swing right there.
Yeah, I thought, man, that's incredibly risky, but at the same time I admired their confidence,
their tenacity.
Yeah, but they should have kept it going. Maybe they should have kept it going. Do you think they should have kept trying to? Is that the only way we would have won? Is if we kept going for it, or that just dug us into a further hole?
I think the game plan. I really think the talent gap was the biggest problem. So the Eagles just have a really good offensive and defensive line. So Daniel Jones had no time. Saquon Barkley only had one big run, and then our defense couldn't stop them. Our defensive line couldn't stop their run. And that's really all it was. We knew what we had to do, and we just literally couldn't do it. That was all it was.
Yeah, they were getting every run they wanted.
Yeah.
When they wanted to run the ball, they ran the ball with good.
Hurts only threw for 300 or for 150 yards.
Yeah. And so they were just blowing past us. It felt like, dude, we're not really putting up any competitive sort of defense at all. They're just getting whatever they want when they want. And then we had an interception, I think.
Yeah, and you know who picked it off? James Bradbury.
No. I didn't even notice that.
It came full circle, dude. Remember, we made a whole video where we got...
That's humiliating.
So for anyone who doesn't know in the chat, James Bradbury was a cornerback, so he's a defensive player for the Giants. And our old GM, Dave Gettleman, was so bad with money that we had to release him for nothing, and he goes to our arch rival and then picks us off in the second round of the playoffs. And it felt like from that point on, it just wasn't our day. It just felt like from that point on. I do want to say one of the weaknesses the Giants have is our linebacker core. That's going to be something, Josh, you and me will focus on in the offseason. We need better linebackers because linebackers stand behind the defensive line and they're good at stopping the run. Our linebackers, it just didn't work. So just tough. I do want to say DJ, he didn't lose us this game. And shout out to, I think it's Mike Too Nice tweeted this. He didn't lose us the game, but he didn't do anything to help us win. And that's what's tough. Sometimes great quarterbacks will just start doing things to help you win a game. It felt like Jones never really got us that help to win that game. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's like he never really stepped up and tried to be, I know this sounds weird, but he never became the hero of the team.
Yeah. It was just a tough game.
Yeah. Being just incredibly amazing, running the ball and getting big sprints down the field as a quarterback sneak, or throwing these passes, or being extra wily in the backfield and getting away from potential sacks and things like that. None of that really happened, so I just didn't feel like he showed up even to his own standards, maybe.
No, in the way we needed him. Look at him in the Vikings game. He willed that game. Now, the Vikings, what we learned, and this really is something, the Giants, I think, maybe hit their ceiling. The talent we had, we can do that against the Vikings, but the Eagles are just, again, that talent gap. I want to go back to that. I really think that's what it was we knew exactly what the Eagles were going to do, but it didn't matter because we couldn't stop it. So, we know they're going to rush Daniel Jones, but we don't have the offensive line to give him those seconds to read the field and throw. He didn't have the game that we need him to have. I still think Daniel Jones is the guy, and we'll talk about that in this podcast. But like you just said, he wasn't the hero that we needed him to be in that game. And you know why quarterbacks get paid the most money? Because they can be the hero. That is why that happens. You know what I'm saying? So it's not unfair to hold him to that standard.
Yeah, that's kind of what we needed in that game to really turn it around before it got away.
We did. We absolutely did.
So you think that's an indication that maybe he's not the superstar that... well, we'll see.
one year in the system. I want to end with this. I have a script for this. I want to end with, what a great year for the Giants to go and win a playoff game. Did we not say, though? We said, let's have a winning record and win a playoff game. This is year one of a rebuild, Josh. That's an awesome season. That's awesome
what I wanted to say. That's exactly what I wanted to say. I wanted to say, look at what we wanted. We said we would be happy with
9 and 8.
7. Even we thought that was optimistic.
And we did say what you're right. If we just saw improvement, we only won 4 games last year. This year we won 9 and then won a playoff game, and we beat the 3 seed and we were the 6th.
Exactly.
That's
so
insane.
You can't be disappointed for the first year
of a Brian Dable rebuild. No.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it was an amazing season, better than
anyone
better
than I expected. I really didn't think this would be how this season ended. Would I have liked to see a little more fight in that Eagles game? Yes. Would I have liked that score to be closer? Yes. But you know what? The Eagles are a damn good team, and credit to them where it's due. They have our number. They beat us 3 times this year.
Imagine an alternate universe where it's actually 4 and 12 right now. Or 4 and 13. Wouldn't that be a shitty universe to live in? We're not in that. We're in one of the best universes that you can live in terms of the Giants.
That's funny. I always think like that. Like think about all the different possibilities. No, it was a great season, and kudos again to the Eagles. I hate you guys. I hate their fans. I hate the color. I hate everything about them. But the Eagles are one of the best teams in the NFL. They were the 1 seed. They literally had a bye week.
Yeah.
They played the Giants, had a week off, and then got to play us again. We've been in their minds for about a month. So, of course, they come out and they demolish us. But it is what it is. Let's leave it at that. I want to jump to the next topic. Josh, this will be more of a reaction for you. I'll fill you in here. So, yesterday was Sunday, and the Giants didn't play, and all the players were back in the locker room, and they did a bunch of interviews. Why this is interesting is a lot of members on the New York Giants are free agents. So I'm just going to list off a couple. So that basically means if they wanted to leave the team, they could. They can just go leave and get a new contract somewhere else. Daniel Jones, Saquon Barkley, Julian Love, Darius Slayton, Richie James, and then there's 9 others. Fabian Moreau, a lot of players that are part of the core here. And so basically I'm going to break this into 2 parts here for this podcast. What did the players have to say? And then what did Dable and Shane have to say when they did their interview today, which was 24 hours later? So I'm going to go through it, and then we can talk through it as each bullet point, okay?
Okay, this is our fucking quarterback and running back, dude. This is the soul of our team right now. So
I agree.
We'll see.
Daniel Jones, in all of his interviews, was very distant about re-signing with the Giants. He would not commit to saying he was going to be on the team. He did say, I have love and admiration. I've appreciated my time here, and I love the guys in these locker room. But when they would ask him about if he wanted to stay, he said, at some point, very, very slightly, I do want to stay, but he also said we have to iron out the details. There's a business side to this. And I think Daniel Jones is unhappy that we didn't pick up his fifth-year option. But I also think his agent is telling him, don't say a lot, because then they'll pay you more money. If Daniel Jones comes out and says, oh, I want to be here, at the negotiation table, Joe Schoen will be like, no, you want to be here. Like, can't you take a pay cut? If Jones doesn't say that, it doesn't give that leverage. So I get where Daniel Jones is coming from, but at the same time, how much money has he really earned? He wasn't that hero in the Eagles game that we needed him to be. I still think he's the guy. It's year one on a new team, and I think you keep him. But what do you do?
Here's the thing. Do you think we're going to go as far into the playoffs as we did next year with Daniel Jones?
Yes.
Like if we kept him, you think we would go into the playoffs again?
I think we win another game.
And then you think, well, if we let Daniel Jones go, what are our prospects for new quarterbacks?
No one as good as him.
You know,
we have Josh, remember how we had pick 5 and 7? We have the 25th pick this year. Because we played well.
If there is any all-star quarterbacks, they're not going to be around at 25.
Or we have to trade up a crap ton just to go get them, and that means you have to give up other picks, other players just to move up from another team.
So there's no other like free agent quarterbacks in the league now?
There are. So there's Derek Carr from the Raiders, but I don't want him. There's Jimmy Garoppolo from the 49ers, but I don't want him. And
wait a minute, the 49ers.
Yeah, they just won, but not with Jimmy.
Yeah.
He's hurt. Jimmy's been hurt.
Oh.
They're playing with a rookie.
Oh.
And
wow.
then Tom Brady.
I'm on the rookie.
And then Tom Brady, who I don't want.
Oh yeah. You don't want Tom Brady?
Nah, because Tom Brady needs a team around him to play well. So either way, Daniel Jones seemed distant. I get why he was doing it, but I wish he'd just come out and be like, I want to be with this team. Like, I wish he did that, but I understand why he didn't. So, but I think we need to sign him.
I don't know. I think you have a point about the whole contract thing and not saying so too much, but based on what you're telling me, I'm reading the tea leaves here, and I don't think he wants to stay.
Oh, no. Well, he has said he wants to stay, but he's just being distant about it. So he did
directly say.
Yes, but he's not coming out enthusiastic about it. Well, I'll send you the interviews and you can listen to them. It's hard to sum it up. But I'm going to parallel this now with today. Joe Schoen said, we absolutely 100% want to keep Daniel Jones here. We think he can win a Super Bowl. Joe Schoen basically said that.
We think he can win a Super Bowl.
They think they can put everything around him today, and that they want him back, and they're happy with his performance this year, and so am I. He did exactly what I asked him to do, Josh. The receipts are in. I have to do this. He had a winning season and won a playoff game. That's what I wanted from him in the first year of a rebuild. He had a ton of injuries. He had a battered offensive line at times. The defense was not great, and they still won a playoff game, and it was all because of him.
What could we have done better to win? What could we have done better this season?
Yeah, so the linebackers needed to be better. Our run defense was never solid, in my opinion. Daniel Jones and Saquon did as much as they could, but I think just learning a system, like an offensive system, they'll become better. And then our offensive line, Evan Neal wasn't as good as we hoped. Rookie years are tough for offensive linemen, so he should improve, but we need to improve the middle of the offensive line. So Glowinski never played very well. Nick Gates had trouble. Feliciano had trouble. So if we can draft in there, like Azudu got hurt. Remember we drafted Azudu and we liked him? He got hurt, so some injuries.
Kayvon Thibodeau didn't even live up to.
No, he played well, but he has a lot of improvement in front of him, and I think he will. Rookie years are tough, so I get that. But I just think we're a young team, and we still need to add more talent. But Joe Schoen, I agree with him. Daniel Jones is not our problem, and he's a good quarterback. And if we could bring him back on a decent deal, I'm for it.
Yeah, if we can get him back at a decent deal, I think I would be for it. Just seeing that he was able to get us to a playoff game and win it, and go into the conference championship. I think that's
the divisional round. We were one.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Divisional round. I still think The thing is next year, we're still going to be in the same division. We're still going to have to beat Cowboys. We're still going to have to beat the Eagles.
And Joe Shane said that today. He said, we know there's a talent gap there, and that's Joe Shane's job, not Daniel Jones. Joe Shane needs to put more around DJ. And he needs to, yeah.
Yeah. So it's going to be tough, but I think letting go of Daniel Jones, I don't think we're going to get whatever quarterback we get. It's not going to be, It'd
be a mistake, and I will bet you now Daniel Jones will be back with the Giants. Now, let's talk about Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley said yesterday, I don't want to reset the market. And what that means is a lot of players, when they're really good, they want to be the highest paid player when their contract gets in. So it's resetting the market. Every player always wants what the last player got paid at the highest amount. So, for example, like, the highest paid running back is Ezekiel Elliott. He makes $19 million a year. Saquon could go to the Giants and say, hey, I want $20 million a year. But then the Giants, because he wants to reset the market. That's kind of, it's just like, that's how players think. They always want to be the highest paid, even if it's by like $100. They want to be the highest paid players.
Yeah, but they can't unless they have the talent, though.
And Saquon said yesterday, he literally said, my injuries probably have hurt me. And then he also said, I don't want to reset the market, which was nice to hear. But then a report came out that during the bye week, the two of the team, the Giants and Saquon, couldn't agree on a contract. So the Giants offered him $12.5 million a year, and I think Saquon wants somewhere near 16. So he doesn't want to be the highest, but he wants a couple more million a year. I side with the Giants. You don't want to give Saquon too much money. I love Saquon, but the running back position declines faster than any position in football, and Saquon has an injury history, dude. What if we're paying Saquon $16 million and he's on the bench?
Why would you be upset with $12.5 million a year?
I agree, but you have to understand, we can't look at it from our point of view. You have to look at it from Saquon's point of view. I get that, but from the player's point of view, and they have these agents, Josh, that will like go in and debate for them, and those agents get a percentage of the contract, so they always want as much money as possible.
Yeah.
But Saquon didn't want to reset. The other thing too is they can franchise tag them. So when you have first round picks, if you can't come up with a deal, you can give them a franchise tag, and that basically says I'll pay you the average or the maximum cost for 1 year. So I think that would be about $12 million a year.
So franchise tag means you keep them
for just 1 year. So basically, when you draft a first round pick, you have the ability to franchise tag them. You only can franchise tag first round picks, and basically that means by year 5, if you can't agree on a deal, you can franchise tag them. And then the year after that, you can franchise tag them again. But every time that tag becomes more expensive. So basically, like, let's say the Giants can't get Daniel Jones and the Giants to agree. The Giants could franchise tag him. I think it's for like $35 million. But Daniel Jones could say, well, why don't you pay me 32, but give me a 4-year deal? And so that way Daniel Jones gets security and the Giants save a couple $1 million. You know what I'm saying? It's like trying to find like that medium ground. So basically, if you can sign Daniel Jones, just franchise tag Saquon. That's what I would do. Now, the thing is, Saquon, his attitude could be shitty about that, because Saquon knows after this year, he's not getting paid. And what happens if he gets hurt? Then no one will want him. That's why if I was Saquon, I'd take the $12.5 million for 3 years, because then even if you get hurt, you're still getting $12 million every year. I know I'm talking really quick.
So you mean $12.5 million each year?
Each year.
So a total of like 37 or some shit.
Yeah.
38.
Usually like.
Okay.
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay, got it. Oh man. Yeah, the money aspect of this whole thing is difficult, but all I can say is I hope that we can get both players on good terms that they like.
Me too. And
I don't want them to get them on grudging terms that they're pissed off about.
But the Giants also need to have a healthy cap space so we can surround more around Daniel Jones and Saquon. You know what I'm saying? We need a good wide receiver, like a number one, because Kenny Galladay's not it, and Slayton is not it, and Richie James is not it. So we need something
Slayton
over there. Wan'Dale
has
Robinson,
too many big mistakes.
Yeah, Wan'Dale Robinson looked great, but he's injured, and he's more of a slot guy. So they can tag him. Saquon said very clearly he cannot imagine this weekend being his last game in a Giants uniform. He wants to stay a Giant, but he's got to agree to a lower deal than $16 million. The Giants can't afford that. And Shane was like, hey, we want Daniel Jones back. Shane said, we want Saquon back, but it has to be at the right price. He said, we love Saquon as a person, we love him as a player, as a leader, but we have to be, like Shane kept saying, our salary cap has to be healthy. We only have $200 million we can spend. We have to spread that across 53 people. So you know what I'm saying? The more you're paying one person, the less you can pay someone else.
I mean, do you think that Breida could fill those shoes?
I don't.
You don't think so? I thought he did pretty good.
He did great, but it's because he only ran the ball 4 times. What if he ran it 20 times or 15 times? We don't know what his stamina level is, you know? And Breida's also significantly older than Saquon. So again, Breida could fall off a cliff next year.
Damn.
If Saquon doesn't agree to a $12.5 or $13 million deal, or even 13.5, then you just draft someone. You use one of your second or third round picks and draft someone and hope it works out. And let Saquon walk. Because don't give up your cap for a running back. The Cowboys, one of the reasons they lose all the time is because their running back, Ezekiel Elliott, who is horrible, is making $20 million a year.
Yeah.
You do not want to pay running backs. And this was the problem with the Giants' old GM. He drafted Saquon number 2, and this is why we love Saquon, but taking him number 2 overall, running backs are usually only good for like 4 or 5 years. And then they just fall off a cliff. It sucks.
Yeah, because they run through a freaking meat grinder every time they get the ball.
Exactly. Exactly. But if you want your team, Josh, to be in the playoffs next year, you can't make dumb decisions on giving guys money because you like them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I think maybe we could. I really like Saquon.
I love
terms
him.
Of his talent. He's
Insane.
got great talent.
Josh,
he's amazing.
He would pull us back in games constantly last year. We were down by 7, down by 10. Big play by Barkley. We're back in the game.
Yeah. So I'd love to keep him, but
me too. And I think he makes DJ better.
Yeah, but in the end, if we had to rely on a rookie draft pick, you know,
you'd rather take a running back and keep Danny. You'd rather do that. Trust me.
Yeah. So maybe that's the play, you know, to try and keep Danny.
I think Saquon's a 50-50. I think there's a 50-50 chance he's back. I'd love to see him back, but if he signs like a $15 million deal, I won't be happy about it. I will not. I will be very concerned about that because Saquon was healthy this year, and the last 2 years he couldn't stay on the field. And when he was on the field, he was beaten and battered and was running for 2 yards.
Yeah, I'm in agreement there with that one.
Point here, Joe Schoen is not Dave Gettleman, and he will not sign Saquon to that deal. Joe Schoen said it's going to be uncomfortable, but we have a limit of what we can spend, and we're not going to go above that limit. And I think that was a direct connection to Saquon Barkley. I think he was saying to Saquon and to other players on the team, we have our limits because we need to have a healthy cap. We need to win games. It's not about one guy. It's just not.
Yeah, it's unless it comes to the quarterback.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. But because the quarterback touches the ball every play.
Right.
Here, let me make sure we're on the script here. Julian Love is another one here. I know we're going through each player, but I just want to. So Julian Love said he wants to be a Giant, but he's not gonna. He knows what his worth is. And then Joe Schoen said we want to keep Love, but when we tried to negotiate with him on the bye week, it wasn't close. So Julian Love could leave as well, which would be sad. But again, he's a safety. We have Xavier McKinney. We have Dane Belton, a rookie who you and me, Josh, we saw him make some big plays. So if Julian Love doesn't work out, it just doesn't work out. If he wants to go make $15 million somewhere, then go make $15 million. They're overpaying for him.
Yeah. I don't think anybody in our secondary is anything to cry about if they were to leave.
The only guy is Adoree Jackson and Xavier McKinney. Those two guys I do like, but they're both signed. They're not free agents, so we don't have to worry about that.
Right.
We will have to sign Xavier next year. So that's another thing Joe Schoen needs to think about. If I pay Julian Love, how much can I pay Xavier McKinney? Which makes sense.
Right. Yeah.
So
there's a lot to dig into this offseason.
Crazy. And so it was like Sunday we got all these the players interviews, and then we talked all about the GM and the coach the next day when they did theirs. Another one, Leonard Williams, the defensive lineman who stands next to Dexter Lawrence, he said he'd be willing to take a pay cut to stay. He's going to be our highest cap hit next year. We're paying him $32 million next year. That's way too much. For his production, Dexter Lawrence deserves that money. Dexter Lawrence is the better defensive lineman. So what they do with Leonard, sign him to a longer deal and spread his money out. Say, hey, we'll pay you that $60 million in the next 2 years, but let us pay you in the next 4 years, and we'll spread it. That way he gets stability, still gets his money, but the cap hits less each month. Bring him down to like $24 million a year, $25 million.
Yeah, exactly. So if he likes the team, I think that would be fine,
And he likes Dexter Lawrence. He literally said, I want to stay with Dexter Lawrence. And Joe Shane said to the media, he said, whoever got Leonard Williams to say he's willing to take a pay cut, nice job. Like, that was because that's what Joe Shane wants. He wants to keep his guys, but he wants to keep the cap healthy. Holy God. I cracked my window open and just crazy plow. And then finally, Dexter Lawrence, he's up for a contract, but we have him for one more year. But Joe Shane said he was amazing and we'll get another contract. So like Joe Shane really was happy with Daniel Jones and Dexter Lawrence. He really liked those two guys.
Okay.
So
good.
Let me see here.
Psycho Troop, thanks for the call out.
Yes, thank you, Psycho. Joe Shane, his overarching theme for this offseason was wanting to keep everyone together, but he doesn't want to overpay anyone to the point where it hurts the team. And my overarching thing is whatever Joe Shane decides to do, I trust him. He took a four-win team to the playoffs this year with his roster. So whatever he decides to do, whatever his evaluation is, I'm here for it.
Me too. Yeah, so far I have a lot of trust in them. I don't want to get burnt. It's hard to put your trust in somebody, but I feel like we're in good hands with those guys. So.
Yep. And Joe Shane said he's really happy with the team and he likes the core guys he has and he wants to keep those core guys together. So before we go outside and try to sign new players, he wants to get the guys in-house here. He wants to get Julian Love, Daniel Jones, Saquon Barkley. He wants to get deals with these guys, but he said he has to keep the salary cap healthy. So I agree with that. Let's try to keep them. But if they want ungodly amounts of money, then go find it. You know what? That's their prerogative, and we'll backfill and we'll figure out what to do going forward.
Ungodly amounts of money.
Well, it's true.
Yeah, it is.
It's true. Okay, I want, instead of $12.5 million a year, I want $20 million a year. I want 16. It's like, bro, really? Like, it's $4 million at that point. But to the players, that's generational wealth. That's wealth that'll be in their family for generations. And you know what? They have to fight for their contracts. I get that part of this. I get that. But the team needs to do what's smart for the team as well. Final interesting point. Every rookie had an injury this year, which kind of sucked. So that was tough. Joe Shane kind of talked about that a little bit. I think the only person who didn't was Micah McFadden, but every other player had some sort of injury, either out for the entire year or missed some time.
Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't notice that. But,
yeah, Joe Shane brought it up, and I think there needs to be maybe some work done in the scouting department on that area.
Yeah, I think just keeping them healthy, because the rookie guys, those are the guys that are going to hopefully be playing football for a long time to come.
And building depth, and, when you can't keep Julian Love, let's get Belton in here. When you can't keep a linebacker, let's get McFadden. That's why we drafted these guys. And we have another 9 or 10 draft picks this year, so we'll be able to backfill even more,
Yeah, so I can't wait for the new drafts already. I'm already looking forward to it.
The thing we have to prepare ourselves for this year, though, Josh, we don't have the 5th or the 7th pick. We don't get to look at those top guys. We don't pick till 25.
We don't get the cream. We don't get the cream of the crop.
But look at the Chiefs. Look at the Ravens. Look at the Bills. They always pick in the 20s, and every year they're in the playoffs. So, hey, maybe we're trending to be one of those teams, right?
Yeah, I know. Maybe it's a good point. Being lower in the draft pick means you're a good team.
Exactly, which is what we wanted.
Yeah, exactly. So,
and you know what? We'll be able to talk about all those free agent signings. We'll be able to look at the deals and see what the dollar amounts are. Being a finance guy, I kind of want to dig into that.
It's going to be very difficult to pinpoint who we're going to draft, being 25 positions below.
Yeah.
It's going to be very difficult.
It's going to be best player available. So no matter what the position is, just take the best player on the board because it'll build depth.
Like last year, we were like, oh, it's going to be one of these 3 guys or whatever,
Yeah.
We had, because it was so high, but here it could be
You
anything.
don't know. They thought a quarterback was going to go in the top 10. A quarterback didn't go till pick 20. You just don't know.
Yeah.
You just don't know. But on that note, that about sums it up for me. and what I wanted to go through. It was nice to hear from the players, nice to hear from Joe Shane. This offseason is going to be wild. There's going to be a lot going on. But, Josh, it was nice having you here for this discussion. I appreciate it. And everyone in the chat who listened while we recorded, I appreciate you as well.
Hell yeah. Always love doing these, and thanks for the chat members for keeping it lit.
Yeah, they had a lot of stuff going in. Next episode will be episode 60. So I'm hoping to do a podcast every Monday. So every Monday on the stream, it'll start with a podcast. I think that's how I'm going to do it. So then we always have a time to record. The viewers know when the podcast will be out Monday night, and then we'll do whatever extra, or I'll do whatever extra as things come. So hell yeah.
Sounds good.
Well, thank you for everyone listening. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment. Make sure you check out Josh's YouTube channel. Those links will be below. And go Giants.
Go Giants.